Welcome to the Mindful Healers podcast with Dr. Jessie Mahoney
and Dr. Ni-Cheng Liang.
We are physicians and leaders who are also trained in coaching, yoga, mindfulness, and integrative medicine.
We are also mothers, spouses, sisters, daughters, aunts, and friends.
In this podcast, we share candid, heart-centered, loving, science-based, thoughtful, and often fun conversations about the challenges life throws at us.
With our collective experience of over 30 years in physician and personal wellness, we reflect and offer pearls of wisdom for navigating life's challenges with more ease.
From parenting, marriages, money scarcity, cancer survivorship, uncertainty, challenges in practicing medicine, we cover it all.
We invite you to refresh your perspective and empower yourself with mindset, mindfulness, and other well-being tools that actually work. A quick reminder that nothing in our podcast is medical advice. Welcome, Dr. Sogol. Thanks so much for being with us today. She is a board-certified pediatrician and a physician mindfulness coach, TEDx speaker, and host of the Mindful Living podcast. She's a mother, a wife, a daughter of immigrant parents, and a managing partner of a pediatric clinic. At age 40, she had successfully completed her life's vision board. She had reached financial, professional, and personal success, and she puts the success in quotation marks. But she noted that she was chronically fatigued, projecting anger on loved ones and staff, and unable to focus. So thanks so much for joining us today. And thank you for being always so open with your journey on social media and on your website.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. I have been following you for so long, so this is exciting to have a seat on your podcast.
Well, we're really, really grateful that you're here with us today. Now, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your own kind of recognition of burnout for yourself?
Yeah, great question. So I'm 48. I think I'm turning 48 in a couple of months. I would say I probably subconsciously felt some nudges around maybe 38, 39, right? But I was on such a hamster wheel that I never paused or paid attention to any of the nudges. But part of me started reading books about like on Wayne Dyer and Chopra. So there was this part of me that got pulled. It was probably like a 5% part of me that got pulled towards this, greater meaning of life, this what is my bigger purpose of life. So if I reflected back and really did a granular like journaling on it, I would find out, I think it was about what I say is that I had my two eyes closed till about 35. I opened one eye at 35, and then at 40, I opened both eyes.
Oh, I love that. What made you open that one eye?
I don't know. Yeah. So I will say parenting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say the journey of motherhood. I have 3 kids, 18, 16, 14. So they're all back to back. I had 2 kids and I was pregnant when I started my practice. I have my own private practice with my sister. So it was a lot, right? A practice is like another baby in itself. So it's like birthing twins and already having 2 toddlers. So it was a struggle, right? And my oldest is a very strong-willed, independent, opinionated from day one. And so she's very much like me. So we just butted heads forever. I fought with her for a decade. And then that made me kind of reach out for more mindfulness and conscious parenting. So I would say if you go back, it started with conscious parenting, which has a lot of mindfulness tools within it with Dr. Shafali. If anyone is interested, her books are amazing. So, So yeah, I would say it started with parenting, then 35, it just all kind of escalated, right? It pounds on top of each other. And then what happened is 40 is I had literally checked off all the boxes to my vision board. I had the 3 kids. I have an amazing husband. I had this practice that I had been creating for a decade. I think it was like 10 years by then. It was profitable. I'd hired physicians. I'd bought my house, car, vacations. My parents live near me. My sister practices with me, which is actually a good thing. Some people don't get along with their sisters, but we do great because we're so total opposite. I mean, what else? Whatever else people put on their vision board, I had. And so I was waiting for this moment of like, when do I get to feel good about all this? I had literally reached the American dream. I'm an immigrant. I came here at 10, right? So the immigrant the immigrant mentality is in our family, it was very much like you come here, you get educated, and then you create whatever you do for yourself, right? You work for yourself. And that was all my cousins do that. My parents came and they're small business owners. So I was like, okay, I now have a small business. And I felt horrible. My top feelings were fatigue, exhaustion, right? So I started cutting back hours and it didn't help. I started sleeping earlier. It didn't help. I started dropping activities for the kids. It didn't help. I started delegating some of the works and projects or not taking on as many projects, all the things that they tell you to do, right?
Mhm.
I started eating better. I cut out caffeine. I cut out red meat. I didn't drink alcohol, but the little I did, I like cut that out too. But it didn't make a difference.
Mhm.
And on top of the exhaustion, I was angry. I was so angry. So anger, frustration, irritability, which all turns into resentment, right? The bigger umbrella is resentment. So I was carrying all of this energy within me, and you're a physician, you go down the, oh my god, I must have cancer, I'm fatigued. So we did the workup. I checked a CBC on myself like 10 times in like 1 year just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And then I kind of said, okay, this is just like, I guess I have chronic fatigue. I'm not really sure what it is, but it totally feels like it in my body. I'm just tired all the time.
Mhm.
And I kind of dragged on with that diagnosis. And then people were like, oh, yeah, well, it's midlife and you've got 3 kids. You've got so much on your plate. And I said, oh, well, I guess, okay, this is how I'm supposed to feel from 40 on. Like it's supposed to be normal. But then COVID hit.
Okay.
And I think COVID, I say, saved my life
Hmm.
because it forced me into a pause that I could never intentionally choose for myself,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Clinic, we're in Texas, so our COVID experience is very much different from the other regions in the country. But still, the patient numbers dropped, right? It wasn't as busy. No one was reaching out as much. So there was this period of like, there was a lot of chaos, but there was a lot less work and calmness, if that makes sense, among the chaos, right? So I took that time and I remember I was sitting outside on like our backyard area and it was like it was March, it was right after spring, it was spring break. We were going to skiing and we were like rolling our luggages out when the announcement came about quarantine, and I was like, okay, guys, we can't go. We can't. And it was a big disappointment, whatever. But I took that time because it was already blocked on the schedule, the 5 days of skiing vacation. I took that time to really just sit and just reflect, just pause, right? Not, I didn't go jump back at work to try to figure out like, okay, I'm here. I didn't go on vacation. So what do you want me to do? Something within me just said like, just sit and just sit, just sit for 5 days. And at that point, I'm like a social media addict. I'm always on it. So I heard like coaching from here and there and here and there. And so I went on social media and I was like, I need a coach. I'm not really sure what the heck they do, but so I posted and a couple of people reached out to me. And then one person, the first person that reached out, I like messaged her and she did a session with me. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's do this. Like, I don't have anything else. So let's do this. And so my mindfulness journey started with coaching, which is what coaching gives you, the awareness, which is the first step in mindfulness. And then I coached with her, I think it was for 3 months. And then I took it upon myself to really delve into the more mindfulness aspects of that, which I just did like independent study by myself. And I had that at 35, I had some of the foundations of it, right? So I just dug deeper and deeper into it.
Wow, thank you so much for being so open about that aspect of your life. And so delving in more to mindfulness, what messages, what themes really resonated for you, and how have you interwoven that into, now fast forward to your 48th year of life, to the calm, ease, and joy that you exude now?
Yeah, this is great. I was just writing an email to my email list about it and reflecting about this. So let me just explain what mindfulness means to me, right? So before I would hear, my mom is super spiritual and my grandparents were super spiritual. So my mom was always telling me in my 20s, like talking about the 4 agreements and reading Rumi. I'm Iranian, and Hafiz and the great poets that are all based on like mindfulness and Sufism. So I kind of heard all this stuff along the way. And I was like, I don't get it. What do you mean you have to live in the present moment? Like, I'm here. What are you talking? Like, it just, those neurons were not synapsing at that time. And so when people brought up mindfulness, I was like, I honestly did not get it. I was like, I don't understand what awareness is. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm aware that I'm freaking tired and I'm angry and everything on the outside world sucks. That's my awareness. So mindfulness in one word for me is awareness, but awareness of what? Awareness of my thoughts and awareness of my feelings. And I will start with the thoughts because feelings were so difficult for me. So our thoughts come from our brain, our feelings come from our body. Physicians are completely trained and conditioned to be detached from their head, from their body. They're very cerebral, depending on what your childhood experiences has been. A lot of us have numbed our feelings, and that's probably why we're overachievers, because our worth is attached to achieving and setting goals and getting things done. And the love that we get, how we're seen and heard, is attached to that. So when the coach asked me, like, how do you feel? I could not even identify my feelings. I would have sounds. I'd be like, or right. So if you're like me, start with the thought part. For me, it was much easier because we think a lot. So start with the thought part and then work your way to the feelings. I'm still working on my feelings part. And the thought part is essentially as easy, if I can explain it, as easy as every thought that you have is not the truth. And you get to decide if you want that thought to be true or not. The only thoughts that are true are the concrete data-driven thoughts. Like, I am 48 years old. Yeah, I can prove that on my birth certificate, right? I am a female. Okay, I can prove that. I am a mother. I can prove that. I birthed these kids, right? But 95% of our thoughts are completely unconscious thoughts that are coming from our conditioning, our wounds, our shadows, our childhood traumas, our patriarchal beliefs, our limiting beliefs. So when I say awareness of your thoughts is look at what the heck you're thinking all day long. Okay, write down what you're thinking all day long. So what I did, a technique that I use that resonates really with me, and it doesn't with everyone, there's different techniques. I journaled. So every night, I did it at nighttime. Some people do it in the morning. It doesn't matter. I sat down after the kids had dinner and whatever, and activities were done. It took 15 minutes, and I broke down my day into 3 days. I said, okay, my morning shift, my afternoon shift, and then my night shift, which is like coming home, 6 p.m. shift. And then I would go and I said, okay, what were those thoughts? Like, I don't remember all the thoughts I had in the morning, but like, what was those predominant thoughts that I had that morning? And I would just jot it down. And once you put pen to paper, you tap into your subconscious more than your conscious. So it just reveals itself, right? I'd write those thoughts down, and then I'd go from 12 to 6. What did I do? What did I do from 12 to 6? Who did I see? Who did I talk to? How did I present myself? Did I eat? Did I pee? And I would write those thoughts down. Okay, what were my thoughts when I was at home? Was my thought like, oh my God, this kid needs so much hand holding. I'm so tired of doing all the work. Why do I always have to do the dishes? I'm so behind on charts. I can't believe this MA keeps calling in sick. Like, those were my thoughts, right? And my morning thoughts were, oh, who's going to call in sick today? Oh my God, what does my schedule look like today? Oh my God, am I going to be able to have lunch? How many patients do I have on the schedule? Who's going to pick up the kid from here? Do I have that parent meeting? It was all schedule related, right? So looking at those thoughts gives you the awareness. If you're starting out, you don't have to do anything with those thoughts. Just being aware that they are in your world, they are surrounding you. Words and feelings are all energy. I'm a master Reiki practitioner, so I love energy. I resonate with energy. I do Reiki on myself. So everything, if you think of everything as energy, if you are in anger, frustration, overwhelm, anxiety, those are the common feelings that I get from physicians. If you're in that kind of feeling, those are low vibrational energies. And when you're at a low vibrational energy, you feel heavy, right? Versus ease, calm, playful, fun, joy, love, appreciation, blissful, thankful. Those are, I mean, as I say it, my voice even like changes, right? It's the energy that changes. So when I started doing this, I wasn't even close to any joy. I didn't even know what joy felt like, because people were talking a lot about the joy in medicine. And I was like, I'm not there. I'm not in the joy, the purpose, the fulfillment. I'm so beyond, like, not even close to that. So I was like, I want to be calm. I don't want to be angry anymore. I want to be calm. And that's what I worked on. So really getting granular with what you have and how you feel and what you think, and then setting a goalpost as to how do I want to feel, how I want to feel, right? And that, for me, that was calm and ease. I had a lot of palpitations. I had paresthesias. I had numbness. I had all these psychosomatic things. And I was like, I don't want to have palpitations. I think if you feel calm, you don't have palpitations. So that's how I want to feel. So I did journaling, and then meditation. And my meditation, everyone thinks that meditation is like, sitting in silence for hours and hours or long minutes. No, my meditation was kind of more of like a pause. When you first start out, it's like, I'm going to take a minute, and my breath work, breathing saved my life, right? Coupling the meditation with the breathing. So I would pause and I would sit there and I would just take some deep belly breaths. We don't know how to breathe. We hyperventilate through life. So taking deep belly breath and just focusing on my breath. That was my meditation. I focused on my breath. It goes through my nose, through my throat, down to my lung, and out.
It actually seems like a good time to have you guide us in a mindful.
Yeah. That'd be okay. So let me see what I want to do. Can I do my morning when I open my eyes?
Yeah.
Like, everybody goes to sleep and everybody at some point opens their eyes. And literally this, I think, takes, you make it as short as long as you want, but it depends on my day, but it doesn't take more than like 2 minutes. And I combine gratitude with breath work with a meditation together. So it like triple the dose.
3 in 1.
Real fun.
Love it.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming, so my meditations, I don't sit up. I lie in bed. So you're already in the lying position, right? So the first thing I do, so you wake up, right? You can stretch if you want. And the first thing I do is I put one hand on my belly. You could put it right below your ribs, which is your solar plexuses, or if you want to go lower and put it where your uterus is, that's where your sacral chakra is. Either way, put it on your belly and one hand on my heart. Okay. And take a deep breath in, and deep breath. When you're taking a deep breath in, a belly breathing, when you inhale, your belly expands. And when you exhale, your belly contracts. It's very counterintuitive for the people that are not familiar with belly breathing. So we'll take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax. Contract your belly. Number 2, inhale, expand your belly. Exhale, contract. And last one, number 3, inhale, your belly expands. And exhale, your belly relaxes. I want you to do like a really quick body scan. Just put your attention on your head, your forehead, relaxing your eyebrows. Come down to your eyes, relaxing your eyelids, letting go of the tension in your jaws, unclenching your teeth, moving down to your neck, taking a peek to what's happening in your throat, dropping your shoulders, relaxing your arms, working your way down to your heart, feeling that heart space, doing a quick check-in. Do you have palpitations? Is it calm? Is it chaotic? There's no feeling that your body does not accept. We accept all feelings. No feeling is good or bad. Feelings are all neutral. Then moving down to your belly, looking at your gut, trying to relax those muscles, looking to see if you have any bloating, any tension, any tightness. And moving down into your sacrum, relaxing your hips and letting that energy flow all the way down to your legs. And now that you're totally relaxed, and if you feel any tension in any part of your body, that's totally okay too. We accept all that comes. I want you to send a blessing of gratitude to your breath and repeat after me. I am thankful for the breath that gives me life today. Then take one deep belly breathe in and exhale out. I am thankful for the breath that gives me life today. Then I move to my pulse and I say, I am thankful for the pulse, or sometimes I will say, I am thankful for the blood that oxygenates my body that gives me life today. I am thankful for the blood that oxygenates my body that gives me life today. And you can stop there if that's all the time that you have, or you can go to your senses. I'm thankful for the vision, the eyes that allows me to see my kids. I'm thankful for my hearing that allows me to hear my children say, I love you, Mom. I'm thankful for the touch that allows me to hug my dog, my partner, my children. I'm thankful for the smell that allows me to smell the scent of whatever is good for you. Usually for me, it's all about children for me. The scent of my son's cologne. And there's probably another one in there that I forgot. But you can go through all your senses. Then you end with 3 belly breathings again. And at the end, the most important part of this is to give yourself a big hug, self-hug, right? Wrap your arms around you as tight as you want, however feels comfortable. And then you say, I am thankful for myself. And then you give a reason as to why you're thankful for yourself. I'm thankful for myself. This is part of the self-affirmation. So today I would say, I'm thankful for myself for having the courage to be on this podcast today. Doesn't have to be complicated. And you can do the same self-affirmation every day. Repeat it to yourself. And that's it. And then I kind of take a couple of more deep breaths and I slowly wiggle my fingers, my arms, let go of my hug, and I wake up and then move out of bed.
Thank you so much for that beautiful practice. I love all of the different elements that were incorporated in terms of being mindful of body sensations and then bringing in the gratitude. And then, I love breath work as a pulmonologist. So I appreciated all those different facets and options that you just shared with us. And so now that we're all chill, in your TEDx talk, you had talked about being an overachiever to chill. So this really resonated for me because I'm embracing both aspects and I'm intentionally practicing the chill part. So besides that wonderful meditation that you just led us in to start off with, for instance, at the beginning of our day, what other tips do you have for practicing the chill?
Yeah. So the most important thing about the chill is that you have to recognize when you're not in the chill, right? Again, awareness. So you have to recognize when you are in this chaotic fight, flight, freeze stress response. And that is the response that us physicians live in because of why? Residency, because of our ICU rotations, because of our NICU rotations, because of the emergency room, because literally so many points of our day, our decision is based on life and death. It's not just a rumor, right? It's not just a thought. A lot of times, if I see a newborn baby and they have a fever, yeah, if I don't treat, if I don't make the right recommendations or treatments, there is a chance that that baby can lose their life, right? If we get down to it. So you have to recognize what you are thinking and feeling when you are in those circumstances. What are those circumstances for you? What part of your day, what hours of your day are you in fight and flight? That's what I would start out with. Find the answer to that question. What part of my day am I working in fight, flight, fear? Or you can call it fear. If you don't know what fight and flight is, call it fear, because we all know what fear is. Fear, worry, something like that, right? Is it when you come home and the kids have homework and you have to do homework with them? Is it when you go to work because you fear going to work? Is it when you walk into Mr. Smith's room because you don't like seeing Mr. Smith because he is very he's very demanding and he's very rude and he's very entitled, right? You have to first recognize what are those circumstances that you are walking into that are fear-based. Then again, awareness and labeling and recognizing those. Then when you've recognized it, when you've isolated, and there might be like 10 things that you're fearful of in the day, right? It can be very overwhelming. Choose one. Right? Choose one. You don't have to deal with all of 10 of them at once. Choose one that repeatedly keeps coming up and it's more frequent throughout your week, and say, okay, I'm going to, every time, I don't like going to work, right? I don't like working with this particular nurse. So every time I have to work with this particular nurse, I'm aware that I'm going to go into this fear, fight, flight response. And when I go into this fear, fight, flight response, this is how I act. This is what I think. This is what I feel. That's the first step. And then when you've got awareness around it, then you get to choose. This is where coaching comes in, right? This is very hard to do by yourself unless you've had some sort of guidance from someone, right? Then by yourself, you can take, I'm working with this nurse, so I know I'm going to be taking 100 belly breathings today to ground myself, right? I know I'm working with my nurse, so I'm going to put in 2-minute breaks and go to my office, bathroom, outside, and breathe. I know I'm working with this nurse, so I know I talk a lot about anticipating what the nurse is going to do, anticipating that she's going to say this and it's going to get under your skin, right? Like anticipate. Then when you anticipate something, it's not such a shock to your nervous system when it happens. Like going in with full awareness that this nurse does this, these things really annoy me, and what I'm going to do to protect my energy. What can I do to protect my energy when I'm working with this nurse? Right? I can go in a room and I can take a sheet of paper out, and whatever I want to say to this nurse, I can write it down and then tear it up and throw it away. Right? That's taking all that energy. It's dumping. It's taking all that energy out of your body. Right? So writing things down, it all starts with taking a pause. You've got to take a pause and recognize the situation. Then you can write it down. You can breathe it out. We do in Reiki, we create energetic shields, right? I do that a lot. I visualize, I close my eyes, I visualize myself, I visualize I'm in a cocoon, an egg, whatever you like, a cave, whatever is great for you. In a waterfall, I love the water element, and I visualize that, and I take some deep breaths into it, and the nurse is but it doesn't really, I allow that energy to pounce off of me instead of absorbing me. Okay. And nature, walk, go outside, sun, trees, go outside, sit in the sun, go outside, look at the trees, look at the sun, walk in the sun, ground yourself barefoot. Like there are so many things that you can do. And I don't want to hear like, oh my God, my clinic is so busy. Like I can't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because when you don't do that, you function at a suboptimal level, right? Because you're spinning in your thoughts and you're angry. And when we have anger and overwhelm, anxiety, everybody knows that when cortisol is released in the body, what that creates as far as executive function skills, right? It slows everything down. So I gave you a lot. Choose one thing and try it. And the other thing is, don't try it once and be like, that didn't work. Yeah, it's not going to work if you try it once. This is all mindfulness. All of this practice is daily little doses. It doesn't have to be big. Daily little doses, but repetition, repeatedly. That's how we build habits. That's how neuroplasticity works, right? It's rewiring the brain with small, tiny, repetitive actions.
So the example that you gave, of course, we love our nurses and we are so grateful for our nurses, but it is really actually applicable to anyone in your life that is a trigger of fear for you. And then the nature aspect of everything, the walking that you mentioned, that's exactly what I do in my 20 plus patient clinic day. My lunchtime, I will actually set the intention to take a break and go outside, look at the blue sky, look at the trees, even though they are farther away because I walk in the parking lot. I take a couple laps and it helps me reset. And that's my mindfulness practice in the middle of my busy clinic day. So thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, I used to work through lunch, right? Physicians chart during a lunch, right? That's what we do. We catch up, or we look at our diagnostic tests, or we look at our messages. And when I stopped doing that, that was the whole after COVID thing. I said, no, you are going to go. And we're in Texas, so there's a lot of sun. I said, you are going to go outside for an hour. Like I made the decision, right? Intentional. And I haven't stopped and I'm fine. Like I don't fall behind on charts. I just, because I have the energy to be more productive because I've grounded myself, I can now finish my charts as I see the patients. Not all of them, but probably 75% of them.
Mhm. Yeah. So how important it is to take that pause for yourself to set yourself up for success, even just a couple minutes outside. I wanted to shift a little bit to talk a little bit about your special relationship with the other co-founder of SoulpreneurMD, Dr. Parastoo. Because even on social, I can tell that you have a special relationship with her. Can you tell us a little bit more about that connection and that collaborative spirit that you both exude so much of?
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Yeah. So I've only known Dr. Parastoo. I met her through our coaching. I want to say 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. It hasn't been that long. I don't remember, but we had, so a lot of physicians have gone through this one particular coaching program. And I think there's like 300 physicians in there. Are you life coach school too?
I am not.
Okay, so it's called the Life Coach School. So we're a very close community, right? We're very connected. And so we had a mastermind. So it was all in the middle of COVID. No one was in person. It was virtual. So the first mastermind that they had, which was in Austin, she lives in Austin and I live in Houston. And it was like a no-brainer. I don't know who she was. I went there with all the other physicians. And I mean, I think the connection, honestly, she's Persian, she's Iranian. So, like, I think the connection is like ancestral connections, right? You connect so much deeper with someone that speaks your language, that listens to the music you listen to, that eats your food, right? Her experience in life is very much different than my experience as an immigrant. I came here at 10. So the challenges that you have as a child, a teen, growing up in a first generation family is very different when she came here in after medical school. So in her, I want to say late 20s or early 30s. So our experience as an immigrant is different. But again, I think the core, if you distill it down to the core, it comes from just the only way I can explain it is like ancestral linkage, right?
I love that.
Yeah. So we hit it off. It has been, when they talk about accountability partner a lot in coaching, I personally, and I guess, yeah, my accountability partner at the clinic is my sister because she's a pediatrician and we manage and co-founded the clinic to ourselves. But I never labeled it as an accountability partner. I was like, oh, she's my sister. Like she's always helped me, right? But now with Parastoo, and I hear this word accountability partner. If you're in this group, accountability partner, and I'm a super like independent, like I do everything by myself kind of person. So when I would hear accountability partner, I'd be like, that's not for me. That's for people that can't do it by themselves, right? Like that was the part. And as I partnered with her, I started understanding the value of it. And we talk a lot about divine feminine and divine masculine energy in our program. And part of divine masculine is, and this is not about being a boy or a girl or male or female, right? These are different energies. Like male you should both have a balance of 50% divine feminine and divine masculine. But because of the patriarchal world, we are conditioned to live in our divine masculine. And masculine is very like solo, right? I do it by myself. So I had to really tap into my divine feminine, which brings in the collaboration part and the connection part. Divine feminine is all about collaboration and connection. So this has really helped me like really feel and understand and experience that part of divine feminine. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And it's always amazing to have someone where I'm like, I'm not doing this. This sucks. And she's like, okay, I'll take over until it doesn't suck for you anymore. And then you'll take over. So yeah, so it's really, really tapping into, those energies and understanding when do I need to use this feminine energy and when do I need to function from my masculine energy? Because yes, if something happens at the clinic and there's some sort of emergency, my masculine is going to come out and be like, okay, let's do orderly, let's do that, or in like a code, like you're in the ICU in a code, your masculine is going to come and you're going to make those, evidence-based, procedural, rational decisions.
And so as we're closing our podcast today, I want to leave some resources for our listeners. So SoulpreneurMD can be a resource. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Learn
So
more.
SoulpreneurMD is the group business coaching programs for female physicians, MDDOs. Okay. And we were very specific about the female physician MDDOs. And in one line, if I wanted to describe it, it is to build, create the true CEO that you are of your business from the inside out, to create freedom and money in your professional soul line business. So the inside out means usual traditional business coaching is all about profits, people, but like the people that you're, people and products that you're serving, right? It's about productivity. It's about operations. It's about everything that needs to happen outside. It's about branding. It's about advertising, marketing, right? It completely leaves the most important person that's literally standing there carrying all the responsibility out of the equation. It is the gap that we are trying to fill, okay? You as the CEO are functioning in a socialized CEO, what we call it, a socialized CEO. And we allow you to look at where you're making those decisions, how you're feeling about it. Are they aligned actions that you're taking? Are they you just copycatting all the other people that are doing things that are not aligned with you? Mm-hmm. And so we do a lot of mindset work. We do a lot of somatic work. The pillars of it is self-leadership, mindfulness, and manifestation. So when you learn self-leadership, not leading others, you have got to learn to lead yourself before you can lead others. It's the oxygen mask thingy, right? So when you learn self-leaderships and we use the tools of mindfulness to teach you self-leaderships, then whatever your intention is going to passively manifest, because you're completely aligned with your purpose. And with that comes joy and comes ease and comes fulfillment and comes fun. All those aspects of life that have been sucked out of us for so long. That's what we are doing.
Love it. Thank you so much. And we will include the links to Dr. Sogol's websites and more about SoulpreneurMD in the show notes. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Oh, yeah. So this is the last thing I want to say. I said this last phrase or paragraph or words at the end of my TED Talk. If you want to listen to my TED Talk, just go to YouTube and put my name, SOGOL TEDx, and then it'll come up. But what I want to tell you is that you are already loved. You are already whole, and you are already worthy and enough. And for so many of you, just like me, none of that was true. None of that was a belief that I embodied. And so mindfulness and the work that I've done with mindfulness has started me on a journey of believing that I'm loved, whole, worthy, and enough.
Thank you so much. And on that note, we will say goodbye for now. And I hope that you will join us for another episode of the Mindful Healers podcast next week.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. This is great.
You're so welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
We encourage you to dive into the show notes for each episode for more learnings and resources.
We also invite you to take a listen to the many other Mindful Healers podcast episodes, and please share the podcast far and wide with colleagues, friends, and family.
If our message and approach resonate with you, we would love to work with you.
When you listen to a podcast, you consume information, but when you work with us, you can actually practice and change.
We offer coaching and mindfulness experiences, talks, workshops, retreats, and more. Connect with us at themindfulhealerspodcast.com.
The content of this podcast is not medical or life advice. We invite you to participate in the mindful moments we offer at the end of most of our podcasts, but please only do so safely.